Having great rhythm is a lot like having great musical taste. You're either born with it or you're a Rob Thomas fan. But lucky for you, there are ways to improve your rhythm that don't always include playing with the metronome, which is exactly what we're going to talk about today. All right? Get a lot of questions about how to improve your rhythm. It's one of the hardest things to teach, though, because everybody kind of hears it in a different way at first. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on one super easy chord, E minor, right? Middle finger 2A, ring finger 2D, however you want to pull off that E minor. But we're going to do all downstrokes, and we're going to try to mute some of these with your palm. Okay, so if you've never tried palm muting before, you just take the side of your hand, judo chop near the bridge, and instead of getting a wide open E minor downstroke, it's going to be like this. Okay, so you can aggressively mute it, where you just hear the lower strings, or just kind of dampen it, right? But the reason we're doing this is because once you start muting, it takes on more of a percussive quality, and the attack of it is a lot more noticeable, all right? Now, I'm not saying not to practice with the metronome. I just know that, like, when I've had students who try to practice with the metronome, at first they get totally lost from the click, and they can't lock back into it. So you have to develop some kind of internal rhythm first, and that comes down to counting. And counting can also be hard if that's something that you're struggling with. So what we're going to do is we're going to do all downstrokes, but count to 4. All right, now I want to try to aggressively mute this, where you just hear the, right? So technically there is some kind of tonality, but I'm really just hearing the attack of the strings, right? Now again, you'll see that because I'm locked in to the bridge right now, I'm not free-flowing like that. I'm forcing my pick to really kind of shorten the motion of it. You can do the same thing with your thumb or your finger. It doesn't really matter, but we want to count to 4 over and over again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. At whatever speed you're comfortable with. A lot of people struggle with this, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. The Rob Thomas thing, absolutely be ashamed of that. I also include Matchbox 20 in that, even though some people like to distinguish the solo stuff from the band stuff. I don't, right? No shame in having trouble with your rhythm. Down, 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 down. As close as you can get to just doing something in order. We're not even going to worry about switching chords, but the first thing we're going to do is dynamically hit the 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to lock that in, because hearing that, and even if you unsustain it, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll notice that the amount of strings I'm hitting is directly proportional to how it sounds out, right? So maybe on the 1, I'm just trying to hit all 6 strings. If I can mute most of them, great. And then maybe the 2, 3, 4, I'm just going for the E string, the low E string, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, without counting it out loud. And that gets you used to like hearing that downbeat, the 1, right? So much of good rhythm is knowing where the 1 is and being able to be on the 1 all the time, right? You can drift a little bit here and there, but the closer you hit that downbeat every time, you want to be right on top of that. Boom, hit it. Hit that 1 hard, and then just kind of get everything else in line, right? And once you can dynamically play that, you are well on your way to being able to do more complicated rhythms, but it all starts there, really kind of hitting that downbeat hard, and then being able to distinguish the volume or the dynamic of it from the other beats in a bar, okay? Once we have that, we can still stick with all downstrokes, and maybe let's do the 1 and then the 3, and have a little bit less dynamic than the 1 on the 3, but still a little louder than we are on the 2 and 4. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have a back and forth type vibe, okay? Because really, no matter how bad your rhythm is, you can probably just hit something in some kind of tempo, right? If you're just trying to just keep a steady beat like this, and you're like, then you should probably see like a psychiatrist or something. I can't help you, and no YouTube video is going to help you there. But most people can just do something like that over and over again. It's really kind of not getting lost within the count and then being able to change chords is the real problem, and then changing the direction of your pick, right? So the first thing we're really going to do is ingrain where the 1 beat is, and then where the 3 is. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Even when you say it out loud like that, it helps. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. As soon as you can match the actions of what your strumming hand is doing, whether it's with your voice or something like that, it's all coming from the same thing, right? If you can dynamically say 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That rhythm is in you. It's just transporting it to your hands in some way, right? Now, one really cool exercise is to go through 4 bars, 4 counts of 4, and then every bar have an increasing dynamic. So in the first bar, it's going to be the 1, in the second bar, it's the 2, in the third, it's the 3, and the fourth, it's the 4. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. It's always on the turnaround where you have the dynamic on the 4 and then right again on the 1. They can trip people up sometimes, right? So that's just one really quick way that you can do it. Another thing is to start really incorporating the downs and ups, okay? So I would recommend staying on the same chord for a while, and then maybe we can do this a little less muted, right? The first thing to do, I would say, is to add an and to the and of 4, right after the 4, okay? So the numbers are all still going to be downstrokes, and the word and is going to be an upstroke, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and, okay? Now we can really start putting those ands wherever you want. In fact, get creative because you're really kind of just making up different strumming patterns whenever you kind of move those dynamics and beats all over the place, right? But I think having it on the back end, on the backbeat, on the 4, is really a great place to start, okay? And also, it's a good way to think of it when you're still kind of trying to mute it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Because that upbeat on the end of 4 really sets up a nice dynamic. 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and A minor. And if it has to be slower than that, that's fine. And again, this is where we get into an upstroke and also changing chords, all right? Now, what we're doing is we're assigning an action to a count or something that you can identify verbally, right? I think that's really important to do. Now, the interesting thing about having that upstroke, that's a great place for and 1 to really try moving during the chaos that the and of 4 upstroke has created. I think E minor to A minor is a great one to do. If that's too hard for you, which again, if you're a beginner, it can be kind of like, you gotta move these 2 fingers down a string, add your pointer finger to the first fret of the B string, make it an A suspended 2, which is really just an E minor chord down a string, okay? You can move these down a string together. I promise you can do it, right? So that'd be E minor to down a string, the name of that would be A sus 2, or whatever, A suspended. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 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 1, and 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 2, 3, 4. I just added an and to the 1, right? You can put the and, the upstroke, on all of them. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I think it's actually almost easier adding it to every single beat because now you're going down and up and you're just keeping a steady pulse throughout the entire thing. It's just where you want to add those dynamics. And within a count, being able to diagnose where it happens, 1, 2, and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and E and 2 and 3 and 4 and A and 2 and 3 and 4. Now again, the palm muting I think is important. Without the palm muting, it sounds like this. With it, so again, again, not that it was bad when it's unpalm muted, but you lose a sense for the attack. And what we really want to build into your fundamental internal rhythm is a sense of attack, because you're essentially going to be attacking every single one of those beats, when you're playing on the beat, right? So definitely get into palm muting. Again, you don't have to have a pick to do it. Okay? I always think it just sounds better with a pick. It's something you should do because you're also practicing a bunch of different things at the same time, right? Now, feel free to experiment with whatever chords you want to do it, to a G. Whatever, whatever fits your style. But I think E minor to A minor is something that a lot of people can handle. It's the first chord that a lot of people use. And it's just going to sound good. So definitely thanks for checking it out. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comment section. Instagram, Twitter, the website. Check out my Patreon because I have like a whole giant course of your absolute first lesson to becoming a total wizard, plus song lessons and everything else. So check that out. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks a lot.